nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so we have a public hearing.
Sure, turning over to Mike Crotty, I'm with the Solicitor's Office. Eric apologizes for not being able to make it. First item on the agenda tonight is the public hearing for the Morgantown Commercial Tax Amendment. This is a change to our zoning ordinance to revise what's commonly known as a bleeding provision from 50 feet to 100 feet. So it's been advertised, it's gone through our planning commission, the county planning commission. The purpose of this hearing isn't to accept official testimony, but instead to accept any public comment for it, after which the board can make a decision on the ordinance. Now we can turn it over to public comment.
Looks like there is none.
Okay, seeing none. So now the board is ready to vote on it. If you're
Anyone have any questions?
I'll make a motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So, hearing closed or?
very close. Yep.
Okay. We have no comments from the assembly, no one signed up to speak. Everyone has their correspondence. And we're at the minutes of the previous meeting, August 10th.
Nobody has any questions, I make a motion to accept the August 10th meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
August 24th.
If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to accept the August 24th meeting minutes.
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor? Okay, treasurer's report is forthcoming. So it's late. He's late up right now. You just need to get that over as soon as possible. Expense list?
Make a motion to pay the bills.
You mean approve the
I'm sorry.
We
Yes,
skipped
approve
over
the
that.
expense list.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second, all those in favor? Okay, business, Representative Chrissy Houlihan, presentation.
Mr. Kana, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. My name is Jeremy McKenna. I know some of you directly on the board, so I do appreciate you allowing me to be here. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person tonight. Had some personal issue with the knee, so I'm going to do this presentation over Zoom. It's only going to take me a couple minutes, so hopefully I don't take up too much of your time. But like I said, I appreciate you allowing me to be here again. So I'm here tonight to connect with constituents, to provide information about our office's services, and also to provide an update on legislative actions. This is Representative Houlihan's second term, and the 6th District has recently redrawn district lines for all of Chester County and the southern portion of Berks County. Previously, Chester County was divided into 3 congressional districts. Pennsylvania's district lines are due to be redrawn, again, as our state is losing a congressional seat, as I'm sure you're aware. We do not know at this point how lines will be redrawn, so that is coming down the line. We have 3 offices, one's located in Reading, one in Westchester, and one in DC. The current hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm located in our Reading office, which is currently open Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. We're looking to have that open 5 days a week in the coming weeks, just because City Hall in Reading was closed there for a while due to COVID, and we're just reopening that office currently. So soon to be 5 days a week, but currently Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Our office also, we assist community stakeholders like township supervisors with federal grants. If you're pursuing a federal grant, please let us know, and if appropriate, we will write a grant letter of support for the application. This is a service not all representatives provide, but it is one that Chrissy feels is important to our community and helpful to many of our stakeholder groups. And no grant is too large or too small. We have assisted with grants from a few $1,000s to grant amounts over $2 million. Let us know how we can be helpful. Our office is here to serve you in any way that we can. Even if we're unable to assist you directly with an issue, we'll make sure we find out who can help you and get your issue resolved. Through our constituent services, I'm a constituent advocate, so I work on constituent services. We've closed 2,533 cases, and we've returned over $2.6 million to our district since January 2021, and $7.5 million since January 2019. We've also fielded over 60,000 calls, emails, and letters since January, and we've fielded over 238,000 calls, emails, and letters in total since Chrissy's been in office. Our district also works on special projects. There's one that I work on, it's called the Veterans History Project. So I'm working on getting that up and running for our office, and if you're not familiar, it's with the Library of Congress, and it provides an opportunity to document veteran stories. So if you or anyone you know would like to participate, please contact our office and ask for me. It's really important for Chrissy, who's a previous veteran, and important for her as well to share the stories of veterans in our community. Also, in regards to the district, in the 116th Congress, Chrissy held more town halls than any congressperson from PA. We're continuing to hold hold town halls now, even with COVID and the issues. We're working to get more town halls up and running, to help our constituents. As far as legislative work, Chrissy voted for the American Rescue Plan, which provided important funds for struggling Americans, including direct funding for state governments and local governments, including municipalities. The ARP also included direct assistance for small businesses, further funding for manufacture and distribute vaccines, and funding for schools to get students back to learning. So wrapping up, if anyone has any questions you would like to ask, I'm more than happy to answer. If not, you can always call our office. Joan, I believe, has my email as well, and then I can also put in the chat my direct cell phone number if you have any questions or anything you'd like to follow up. If there are questions that you don't want to ask directly over Zoom and you'd like to speak to me personally, you're more than welcome to do that as well. I'd love to know how I can be helpful. So again, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, and I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, resolution 2021-36, American Rescue Fund's 2021 budget appropriations.
So if there's any money spent this year, the budget does have to be amended, and this amends it. So the departments got together, gave their wish list, items that we can possibly purchase this year. So we want to be proactive and go ahead and establish this if possible. Most of the vendors are co-starred.
Okay, so we have the admin here, which we've needed,
That includes laptop.
the chief laptop,
There.
yes, the codification that we've been talking about, security cameras at the park, Cody Mobile, we've been discussing, the mobile sign, the one that we had to borrow, now we're looking if we can purchase that.
No. We borrowed 2 signs from the county when the tornado went through, and they were terrible. The batteries didn't even last, a couple hours? Yeah, if that. So, this is something we can communicate when road closures and a bunch of different stuff. If we have COVID stuff, we can also use, so. Is that a price for one?
Yes.
Yes.
And that has this, excuse me, sorry, it's got the solar panel and 2 batteries, so you're well backed up there.
Yeah, I thought it was a speed sign. We do have a speed
We have the
sign.
speed sign, that's actually in my report where that's going around, but that's just for small. This is a trailer
Yeah, something.
information, so we can put multitude of things, whether it's police department, EMA, COVID,
Carnival.
carnival,
Halloween.
Parks and Rec or whatever, I
Road
mean,
closed.
road closed.
Tree trimming.
Tree trimming, crack sealing for the road crew or street sweeping. So the uses could be multiple, but the main thing it could be used for is, try and get messages out with COVID or stuff like that.
Okay, and then the wireless microphones, that way, if we decide we need a bigger room, we can just pick them up and we can go down to the other room and have them. And then the township GIS mapping system.
One moment.
Fair question.
So it's coming off.
She's got a mind of her own sometimes.
So that comes to $59,603.95. So if anyone wants to make a motion that
I'll
we
make
go
a
forward.
Have a
I'll say.
public comment?
Have a motion,
Public comment before you vote?
Yes.
What about the, ordinance? Yeah, you wanted to codify the ordinances, is that gonna be in that money?
Yeah, it's in here.
That's
yes,
discussed.
I gave that off.
I didn't hear it. What was it?
Yep.
Okay, what was it called? Cause I didn't hear it. Was, okay, I didn't hear you say that.
Codification.
Yeah, and I'm here, didn't hear you. I
Okay.
heard GIS mapping, what is that for?
Most of our stormwater and everything throughout the township will be logged on a computer.
Okay.
Okay. We have a motion following Alan second. All those in favor? Aye. Zoning hearing for. So these are the alternate members' letters of interest. We have Tim Dutton and Taylor Billman. Are you both here? Yes, okay. So, Tim, do you want to speak, or is that?
However it works, thanks for having me tonight. I was notified that there was an opening for the alternate position for the zoning board. I've been a resident in Carnarvon Township since 2007. Take great interest in, what happens in my town and looking to serve. Thought it'd be a good opportunity to give back and be a part of the, board as an alternate. I understand the position is just when needed, because there is full positions for the zoning board, is that correct? Okay. And it's very flexible with time. I work from home, so I have a very vast schedule. I can be available anytime. Just look forward to the opportunity if I can help.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here to speak on my interest. I moved to Carnarvon Township in the spring of 2020 with my wife and been looking to get involved in the community. I saw that there was an opening on the zoning hearing board and I sent in a letter of application. I've spent multiple years previously in college. I was on the financial committee for the student government funds for the entire university, so stewarded that money for 4 years on several different committees. Was on committees daily, weekly, sometimes multiple times a day, and have extensive background with the Robert schools, and I think my previous experience can lend a good ear and piece of the conversation, the crucial conversations and critical conversations that boards like these need to have to implement the correct changes, to have the foresight on what will be directing our community in the future. I've worked in the construction and real estate industry for 7 years and have lived in markets like DC, Boston, and Philly Metro, so I've seen how different zoning implications affect communities such as urban sprawl that Alexandria is having an issue with right now, and they're having to deal with rezoning issues because they didn't deal with that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and would love to help out if the position allows me to, and I understand it's an alternate position, but if I can grow into another position, as something becomes available, I'm looking to do that as well, so. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? So we did get one from the solicitor, for the zoning, and they would like us to fill 2 positions. They have the word of someone. They'd like to have
Sandy, we
2
can't hear you.
They want, we're gonna choose 2.
Okay.
Easy noise.
Want to make a motion to, should we do each individual or?
You should, yeah.
Okay, so we'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept Timothy Dudley to the hearing alternate position.
I'll second that.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And Taylor?
Make a motion for Taylor Billman.
I'll second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Welcome aboard, both of you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morgantown Affiliates Land Development Plan Update.
Is anyone here from there? I was gonna say on our end, I know that we did have Terry was on, they had a conference call about, had a lot of issues that were raised, and they had some concerns about the driveways and stuff that we discussed before. And they have some revisions they'll have to make to the intersection, main intersection and the main drive. So they'll have to get that stuff addressed, and then let's move forward on this issue at that point.
Okay, so what was supposed to be done by September 10th?
That was their deadline.
That's their
For
deadline.
their plan,
Okay.
yeah. I'm not sure what the holdup was, but they just said they needed more time. So the board approved it.
This is the old Wolf Hotel, right?
You know what?
The Wolf Hotel up there at the Twin Valley Road intersection.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we need to do? Are we just waiting for you to follow up?
Now, Mr. Grant, is he still in that property?
Mr. Grant is still, yeah. Not much. This is, 2 years.
Yeah, I would think, yeah.
I say we
It's
go,
actually longer.
I say we go forward with enforcement, because he's had more than enough time. He did enough to keep us kind of quiet there for a while, but, we gave him 9 months to come up with a permit, he didn't until we started, site work, so I think we just take the next steps.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. Kim Dental, LDP.
Thank you for giving me some time again this meeting, because the last time I was here, that we could I just followed through and we didn't have to be here, but, so I brought all the agreements, development, financial security, and stormwater agreement to Joe today, brought some section of plans that have been, signed and by Dr. Kim. What I do not have yet is the letter of credit from Fulton Bank. They have a commitment, but they're waiting on appraisers and are at a place where they're telling me it won't be till the first week of October until they can actually go to closing for Dr. Kim. So that creates delays. Obviously, we're at a place where we have trade contractors lined up. As soon as you can't go forward with the first one, the dominoes start falling, and it's not just a matter of, okay, now we have a 3-week delay. It just doesn't work that way. And so I'm before you trying to figure out how maybe you can help us through this. I've been in contact with Eric Brown, your solicitor. He's very helpful. Eric contractor today as well, just to think through some things, but ultimately it comes to the supervisors to be able to make these decisions. As I looked at your ordinance, I think that if you grant me a waiver of section 7017 and 7018 for 3 weeks, and then it would automatically go back into effect, we could keep this moving on schedule.
Does that mean you're able to put footers and stuff in?
So what that would do would be, those sections set the level for the financial security needed to go into this project. And I'm not asking for no financial security at all. I contacted the bank and Dr. Kim. Our financial security is set at $467,000. And the bank will issue a letter of credit if they have that money in the bank. Dr. Kim doesn't have cash to set the collateral for that. She thinks that she could come up with somewhere around $250,000, which is more than enough to cover the little bit of work that we would do. And I say little bit, it is a lot, actually. It touches about half of the work that would be in the escrow. So, I guess I'm suggesting that this board would have the authority to grant those waivers, have Dr. Kim issue a letter of credit based on a lower escrow amount, which those waivers would allow you to set that, and then it automatically resets to the actual escrow amount 3 weeks from now. And that would buy both Kim Dental and Kidjoy, quite frankly, because the projects happen to be right next to each other. And
Did you start the site work and the grading and?
in Kidjoy we have,
But for Kim?
no.
So what
So
are you,
how
what are
long
you
will that
looking,
take
what are
to
you
get
looking
done?
about getting done?
I would-
ENS, stripping the topsoil, what are you looking?
Yes, I would love to I would love to move, first of all, the Kidjoy site has extra fill. Kim needs fill, and so they happen to be right next to each other.
So you wanna move the dirt?
I wanna move, and in order to do that, you gotta strip the topsoil, you gotta put in the ENS
Okay,
stuff,
so all that site preparation.
all that site
So-
preparation.
Would it help if you did the grading and site preparation right up to the point of the footers? I think that's the best we can do, because we don't wanna defer from, if we let anyone get away without the letter of credit, in the future, everyone's gonna say, oh, well, you did it for this person, you did it, and that's a risky.
Yeah, but it's
The
only a
same thing.
deferral for what, 2
Yeah,
weeks?
but
So
then everyone will want a deferral.
No, I hear what you're saying, but like he had said, if she could come up with at least a portion of it, at least to cover our costs, because we're gonna have to have inspections go out for ENS, we're gonna have to have inspections come out for all
She'll
that.
pay all of those things, it's just the escrow would not be at $467, she would have it at $250, which would be more than the amount that, and
what
I
if she can't
realize,
get that escrow? What if
I'm
she
sorry.
can't get that letter of credit?
they'll give a letter of credit for that amount, and then 3 weeks from now, it'll be the full amount, and if she doesn't have the full amount,
Right,
you don't
that's
have
what I'm
more work,
asking.
you don't have more work done than what she has escrow for anyway. Not near it,
Yeah,
not
if she
near.
puts down $250,000, that'll cover our cost at least, you know what I mean, till she gets a
So
letter
we'll
of
do
credit.
this once.
So I
And we're
guess,
also working with
and
the local business too.
Well,
That's
speaking-
what
we
I
always
see,
do,
too.
we always do, but
so I feel your concern about setting a precedent. I mean, if you take you make the criteria, it has to be 2 businesses that have been here for 15 years, employ local people, serve local people, and the contractor's a local contractor. Make that be the precedent for the next time you do this. I like to believe we live in a small enough community that maybe we can do something like this that benefits local businesses. And, but I know it's asking a lot, and I don't wanna ask something that's just totally out of line. It makes a huge difference for Dr. Kim. And But if it can't be done, it can't be done, you know, and I talked to Eric, he wasn't sure, you know, his point was, well, the MPC says, well, the MPC says, yes, but it says that you set the escrow. The township has the authority to set the escrow. You can set the escrow for 3 weeks differently than your ordinance says it does. And the MPC is a guidance thing, the way I
So
understand
you
it.
guys, in Elverson, they defer from it and they do this?
We have done that. We have. And things are so different now than they were 10 years ago. Stormwater is such a huge part of any project that you're doing. It almost makes everything else look ridiculous, you know? I've just been trying to do everything I can this week to figure out how to make this happen for Dr. Kim. And I'm just asking your help. I think it can be done. You know, but Eric's not here, but Eric felt like.
What is that escrow for? I know it's to pay any engineering fees that they wouldn't be able to pay at the time, to make sure we're not sued
And if
for
they
the
default.
cost.
And if they default.
They defaulted.
And it is public improvement, so if there's anything necessary that's gonna damage the public, your
Yeah, if they
stormwater,
just
your
pulled
road,
out,
your road
yes.
stuff, you pulled out, that's there as a backup in case the township needs to come in, execute against it.
Well, see, now, wait,
We
you're-
record the plans.
Well, we will, but what you're saying is you wanna put the ENS in, you wanna strip the topsoil. Is this project holding up Kidjoy? Because you need a place for the dirt, obviously, correct?
Yeah, and I guess I would like to be able to record the plans if you move them with the building permit as well, because you submit the building permit and you have 30 days to get that. And so to wait 3 more weeks on that now, you know, Great Valley's been good, and I think they've probably looked at it, and I'm not sure they're gonna say, well, we're gonna take 30 days for that, but, we just wanna keep the project moving. I just don't see the risk for Carnarvon Township, and I would
The risk is
hope,
we've been taken advantage of in the past, and I'm not saying that you would do that necessarily.
you know where I live.
No, I get that now. I mean, my honest opinion is, I would say that you put down the $250,000, okay, and we let you at least set the ENS and strip the topsoil and move that dirt. But I don't agree with giving the building permit until we get the rest of the escrow.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Would that help you? Would that put you in the right spot?
That'll help me for about a week, and then I'm gonna be looking for more money. That's because, the building's gotta get going. Where weather is, we want our under roof, and 3 weeks is gonna turn into 4 and 5, and so.
That's what we're afraid of too,
Can we
with the letter of credit is,
pre-approve
it'll be
this
3 weeks
pending,
and turn
if
into
they would
5,
get it
6,
in the
7.
next week or two, the letter of credit?
Yeah, so what we have right now in our packet, the report we gave you, are the motions to approve the forms of these agreements, is one motion. And then a motion to approve the release of the plans, and then once they do that, they're off to the races. But that's subject to them submitting the required financial security. So you can do that tonight, and that way if it comes in on Monday, they're off to the races.
Right, so
Start building.
if we do this
But they need
tonight,
it.
then you go pounding on the bank's door
See, and that's
tell them
exactly-
to,
That's exactly what I'm thinking,
So-
if we can pre-approve this,
so you don't have to come back and
contingent
wait.
upon, then the weight is on the bank.
But
So
you can start with the site work and.
the bank has told me that they will release the letter of credit if we have enough cash in the bank to be collateral for that letter of credit. So it isn't as though your security, the kind of security is gonna change. It's gonna be a letter of credit from Fulton Bank. And they're far enough into the process, they've committed, they're gonna make it happen. It's just they're waiting for appraisers, and appraisers do not work for the banks. They can't. You know, so these guys, they hold up projects just because they need to be independent, and they are, and mine are, so. Okay.
With you guys, though,
I-
we pre-approve it and even signed everything, the paperwork's here. The minute you get that in, it's ready, and you got, all you
You're
gotta do
ready
is
to
pick
rock
it
and
up.
roll as soon as you get that.
I appreciate that.
That's about as far as I would wanna go,
Yes.
just because I just don't, we do it for you, we have to do it for everybody, and it's just, you know, I know that Dr. Kim's been in this town for a very long time, so that means a lot, and I know that, so.
You make the motion,
Okay.
is it?
$250,000 down and we give them the okay to do everything but the building permit. I mean, you're gonna be putting dirt in there, are you gonna be padding it, is that what you're looking at?
You're filling for a pad,
Yeah, we'll be stripping all the topsoil
right?
and then bringing dirt in and building for, and putting a pad.
I'm okay with that, with the $250,000 down, and then contingent upon them getting a letter of credit, they can start that day.
Who does your soils? Do we go out and inspect that, or you have a third party does that, and you just submit reports to Great Valley? How does that work?
We've had a soils engineering there.
But if you're putting a building pad in, you're gonna be compacting, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the more I have to send him out there, the more that's happening to that. So, I mean, I'd be okay, because I do the work for a living. You're gonna put that dirt over there, you're gonna wanna put it in a pad, you're gonna wanna roll it in and put it in lifts, correct?
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem doing that. Jeff, you've been in the business, you know what it's like. Instead of putting it in a pile, you're just gonna be kind
Laying it
of
out.
double dipping it.
Yeah.
Based on what you told me, my goal is going to be to figure out how to fund the escrow for the letter of credit and get it fully funded so that the plan can be released and recorded, and we can get going with the building and everything. And that would be my goal. Because to just move the dirt and not be able to do anything with the building for 3 weeks is not going to serve them well.
But we just told you, you could put it up to grade, just not
Yeah.
gonna get footer inspections.
The only thing I fear is, would you allow me to drive one of your company vehicles without insurance? Just a little more. Well, I'll get insurance tomorrow. And I guess that's where we're at. You know what I mean? That letter of credit is insurance. And without insurance, that's a little scary. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, bottom line is, we trust you guys, but
We do.
there are things in this world that are out of our control. As we
Understand.
learned about a year or so ago, you know what I mean? So,
I understand.
who knows what could happen.
So thank you for your time and also your motion. I think that serves
We have a
us.
second?
I would
So
second
just
this motion.
to clarify, the motion will be is approve the various agreements, the development agreement, financial security agreement, stormwater management agreement with Family Care of Alverson, as well as authorize the plans to be released for recording on the condition that the applicant submit the required financial security and reimburse for any outstanding consulting.
With the $250,000 down first.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I said.
All those in favor?
So I'm sorry, it was with Alan and.
It was forward.
Paulie and then me.
Okay, thank you.
So you will work at signing the plans and also that at least when I get this in place, I'll be able to take them and, because I look at the
Yes.
amount of signatures on that thing, there's 7 sets out there.
We'll have it ready to go and.
And that's what we're saying, we'll get that already taken care of. The minute you get that letter of
Got
credit,
your
you're good to
security,
go.
You bring that letter of credit in here and hand it to her, so you'll be ready to
Okay.
You don't have to wait for us
Thank
to
you.
meet again, I mean, we'll have it all taken care of.
Thank you. And
The only reason you need to come back is if you don't do it within 90 days, because then you need to reapprove it, because then the dates are off by the 90.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else we need to address on that?
Nope, covered.
South Street address assignments.
Sandy, sorry we have to interrupt here. We have one for Kim Dental too. Yeah, since we're on that one, you okay to speak up a little bit, please?
We have an address assignment for Kim Dental.
Right, and it's actually gonna be for all 3 pads up there. So, I believe I put it in your
It
packet.
looks like 931 Heritage Drive, 935 Heritage Drive, and 939 Heritage Drive.
Yes.
But, so 931's for the medical facility, 935 for Kim.
Mhm.
It's on there.
Yeah,
It's on there.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion,
I'll second.
have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So that in on that property then, Kim?
Yes, we're good.
All right.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
XTO extension letter.
Don't we not? Isn't there- Is there a reason we're not extending that or something?
They had previously, with the PennDOT, we were having monthly or bi-monthly meetings with PennDOT regarding multimodal grant that they had approved.
Right.
And then some of their, the way I understood it, some of their permits that they had or contracts got pulled, so they had asked us to stop those PennDOT meetings. Because they were trying to, I think, figure out what they wanted to do with the intersection, and they said they were having issues getting the property they needed to make the improvements there. But they, I think, still were figuring if everything comes through, they're gonna keep moving forward. So I think that's why they requested the extension until March 31st.
So it says they're continuing discussions.
What I would like to see is I'd like to see him come back here before us, because we've extended this how many times now? We agreed for them to start a pad over there, the pad started, and we're sitting there looking at an open lot doing nothing. And all we keep hearing about is extensions.
It's not even
I
a
think,
road.
I think the man needs to come before us and ask us in person for an extension, and give us a rundown of what's going on.
There's another property,
Couple of years.
there's
That's-
another
that's what I
property
see.
in our township that there's no people on, that people have to live next to.
So I say no on the extension until he comes before us.
I would agree with that.
When, I think we want to grant the extension. Okay? Because what we don't want is any sort of deed approval on time element.
When is this?
So why do we have to extend it? I mean, he's extended it how many times?
Yeah, but,
But they weren't involved.
yeah, then I think we're on the bad, it's my understanding, then we're on the bad end of this one. My understanding is we have financial security for in place,
Yes, but not the full.
not the full amount.
We allowed
When is
him
this
to start that project,
I
before he had a lot of different stuff, and the guy was very ignorant and arrogant, okay? And we allowed him to do that, and this project is sitting there doing nothing, so yeah, that upsets me. I feel that the guy has to come before us and give us some sort of explanation.
So then why don't we extend it, that way we're off the books, we did what we had to do, and then we request his presence at the next, for the next
That
extension.
keeps us in the good standings of our lawyer, and yes, if not, I give two craps about it.
And of course, not release any of that financial security, keep holding that.
So we'll get-
So I'll make a motion to accept the extension for XTO. So long as he shows up to the meeting.
I have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Apartments on Main.
That one was just to reaffirm the plans they were approved, but they don't have their financial security in place as needed, so it'd just be to get the plan reaffirmed for the 90 days.
This is across from the Morgantown Beverage.
We need a motion to reaffirm that.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Stormwater agreement for approval?
And this one, we have our form stormwater management agreement, it looks like they did submit a signed version, so it would be for the board to approve the signature of that on our end.
Did Great Value look at it?
Yeah, Terry, I think we're going back with their 4 hours for their stormwater improvements. Moving forward, check on that.
And you guys are okay with it then?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to agree to approval of stormwater.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
91 Rock Bridge temporary construction easement agreement for approval.
Bear with me a second. This is one, my discussion with Derek, we were waiting on their signature of the signed agreement, which looks like now I have in hand, so be ready for your.
Were we waiting for cost estimates too?
We were reaching out to contractors, we talked to Eric about that, we think it should be under the bidding limits. that's something in addition, and this was discussed last meeting that they were willing to go to easement, so we thought we should move forward on that as well. But yeah.
On bidding.
We were reaching out to get some quotes just to make sure we're expecting it to be under bidding threshold, or even just get quotes, but we wanted to just kind of verify we got a plan together, go with the contractors.
All right, well, I'll make a motion for at least the easement agreement. 91 Rock Ridge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye.
And you're looking for approval to start bid on, is that what you're looking for?
Well, I guess what we were looking to do initially, we talked to Eric about this, we don't think it's gonna be enough that it would need. I guess we were gonna reach out to some local contractors just to see if it's under the bidding threshold, or I guess request the formal quotes, but then, I guess if we wanted to make the motion, it would be okay to do this way, if we reach out and we do find it's under the amount, we'll proceed to get some quotes for it, if it's okay to do that way, or we could just.
I think we just go ahead and get quotes. And
Bring it back to us.
Just bring it back to the board, yeah, can't, you don't have any numbers, you can't.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay, so we don't have property. Wexford Court escrow release matter.
Terry, I know, met with Mr. Vargas City regarding Wexford Court last month. He did indicate he was going to be coming back and addressing the concerns out there. I know Terry had reached out to him and hadn't heard back if he has a schedule or anything, so to my knowledge, at this point, nothing has been done since previously, but they did meet. I think there was some discussions about it, you could re-up the escrow or increase it, my understanding, you can't go above what it originally was, and what we have at this point is what we have, is my understanding of what Terry told me.
Now, work was done over there, was that part of this stuff, or that was part of the other HOAs?
That was the, other Valley.
And you guys are all taking care of all that, because I know they were just over there yesterday working on that basement.
Yeah, Terry was gonna go down, they called him, I guess we didn't realize they were coming back at that point, and someone from the HOA did call Terry and told him they were back there working, so he was gonna stop down.
Okay, resolution, let's see, tree work. So, resolution for approval and tree work list. I don't have,
Yeah, we don't have a resolution yet, so I guess when Eric returns, we'll go over that.
okay, can we still continue on with 20 Penwood Drive, so, or do we have to wait on all of it?
I think we can continue.
Okay, so,
Oh, yes, cause that was an email that I got. This person was complaining about trees that were on the other side of the fence. And I talked to Keith, and those were trees that were planted in the open space that belongs to the township, and we don't know who planted the trees. So at this point, they're overgrown, overlaying fence, and she's not liking that, and so.
So
Well,
all the
the board-
taxpayers of Carnarvon Township are gonna pay to get rid of those trees, ultimately.
who would have planted trees other than the landowner?
The homeowner.
Previous
Oh.
landowner,
The builder.
it was the
No, the
previous
home-
landowner.
Okay, so
But
they
the homeowner
purchased
left.
that land,
No, they
No?
purchased trees and planted them on the township
the prior owner.
prior.
So the new owners that
Oh,
purchased the
oh.
So the
house,
new
purchased
owner-
it with them on there.
Right, on your property, and now they don't like it, shaves out their swimming pool.
So now everybody in Carnarvon Township has to pay to get rid of those trees.
Well, that's
Which
fine.
is why we need to start
Right.
cracking down on that open space.
Yeah.
So what do we wanna do about the
So
trees?
what's she looking for, to get them completely removed, trimmed, what?
I don't know that I completely know what she's looking for, other than she doesn't like the dirt or the shade.
Or
Are
do
they
you
bothering-
maintain that open space, or who maintains the open
I
space?
guess the neighbor on the other side, I won't stretch too far, but I believe it was a neighbor dispute that caused them to plant the trees. We haven't mowed that particular 30-foot right of way or easement in years because the neighbors have been doing it.
So those trees aren't affecting us at all.
But
Are
who
the
should be,
trees dead?
No.
who should maintain them? Who should maintain that open space there, the homeowner?
Who should? We should, because it's our open
Okay.
space, but I can't stop the guy from mowing it before I get there.
Well, once again, if you're in a situation, if we take down trees because someone doesn't like them, everyone that has something in the open space is gonna call and say, we want you to take this tree down, we want you to do this to this tree.
Her letter goes on to talk about other trees in the open space or what she calls a potential hazard to her property.
Well, if the trees aren't dead and in danger of falling on her property and damaging any of her stuff, I say we just let them go.
Yeah,
If she wants them trimmed back off her property, that's her.
I agree, I mean, the board has to make the decision and then render the decision.
They're saving us money by mowing. You're not having to mow that area, so they're saving us money there. I call it a wash.
Well, she's saying on here that she feels that eventually that tree is gonna do something to her fence.
Super what?
It's gonna do something to her fence. Are they pine trees?
They are, they're white pines.
So I don't know how the roots grow.
No, they're shallow roots.
There is a stormwater pipe that goes through there, these aren't planted directly over top of it, but if you choose to take them down, that's fine, I just,
But then do we choose to go through all the open space and take down everything that everyone's planted?
no, because then they're gonna wanna try and sue us for taking down
No,
the
if
trees.
the tree's
Yeah,
dead, or
but-
there's
Right,
something,
I
a
understand
dead
that, if
branch or
they're dead.
something, yeah, but I mean, as for that, I would say, you know,
They're alive and they're well.
and if it starts damaging her fence, keep an eye on it. You know,
I
keep
mean,
an eye on
we
the
can
roots
give
and see
them
what happens.
permission to call someone in to take them down, right?
but.
I mean, I would think we could do that, if she wants them down.
If
That
she
was-
would like to remove them, that's up to her.
My suggestion or comment to Joan was that if she felt that way and she wanted to trim what was hanging over the
Yeah,
property line,
absolutely.
by all means, go ahead and trim away. But she wants them removed, and then there's the incidence of threats, well, they're gonna fall on my fence, they're gonna fall here, they're gonna fall there, they're live trees.
Well, how does the board feel if the tree's not dead?
They're alive and well.
I mean, so can we send her a letter, just say, hey, the board said that unless it's dead, you know, we're not gonna remove them?
But she's
If she's
more
more than
welcome
welcome to trim them, if she
Pass
wants to
on the
remove them, it's
trim 'em?
on her.
Yes.
Professionally trimmed. Don't
And-
cut off one side of the tree and
Does
leave it
that-
dead.
Does that open up the, a can of worms for other residents to say, well, I wanna go maintain this public space?
Yeah, so I'd rather if she wants to, if she's gonna trim what's over her property line, then she stays on her property, and that's fine. But if she's coming onto our property, the open space,
Yes, no.
then we need to.
So she can
have
trim what's
specific
hanging
rules for
over
that.
her property.
She's doing it from her property, that's on her property. If she's
Okay.
coming into our township open space that we own, that's a whole different decision the board's gotta make if we wanna, you know, have.
If we're getting rid of a tree, that doesn't cost us anything, so that's why I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
But
but,
then
you
we
know,
have
the
to-
guy cuts
Right.
down and he hurts himself, and now he's
Right.
on your property and he's using
Alright,
it for
so
himself.
we allow them to trim the trees that's hanging over her property from her property.
Yeah, and then she just pretty much says, okay, well, what if it does something to my fence later?
Well, we always have that threat of any trees falling down on anyone's property from the open space.
We have a lot of woods around here.
So at any time that can happen, we'll have to deal with it at that time, and we just, I guess we can.
Are you saying that she was very difficult?
Yeah, she wasn't letting up, she, yeah, just.
Okay, I say we start with that, if everyone's okay, letting her trim back what's over her property,
From her.
and
Paul,
from her property,
Can you
and
help
see
her
what.
with contacting this lady? Is that better?
Thank you, Paul.
Anything else on that, Sharon?
Okay, thank you.
Kenwood Walking Trail update. Who has an update on that? Anybody?
I had a draft letter that,
Well, yeah, that's the only thing that's been circulated to that.
alright, and so Eric did add something to it, I sent it
I
to you
sent-
last minute, sorry.
Did everyone get to read the letter?
I did read it, I mean, I think, if we're gonna send it to everybody, I think we should word it maybe a little bit differently, because it says more or
Did you
less,
see Eric's version or Joan's
I
version?
think I saw your
Okay,
version.
Eric reworded it.
He
Okay.
did, I sent it
I don't
to
think I saw
Very
that.
to the point,
I didn't see the last.
alright, so,
But I think as, you know, Sandy and I talked prior to the meeting, I think it's probably a good idea that we send it to everybody in Penwood.
that way everyone in Penwood knows what's going on, because they all get to use that trail, and they're the closest residents to use that trail. That way, if they see something going on, they know that's wrong. They have the option to, hey, call it in. Help keep this place clean.
Can we go back to the prior one?
What's
I
that?
think it's the same one. Weeds and bugs from standing water from a leaking creek the township won't touch.
Where's that at?
That's behind, in the same area.
And she didn't put it there. What creek? Is it Natural Creek? Is it on our
There's
open
that-
space?
What's that?
Is it on our open space?
It is on our open space.
Okay.
So there's a natural stream and a earthen berm, and then there's a stormwater swale, and they run together down to the retention pond. That natural stream has worked its way through and feeds out into the stormwater
Yeah, we
swale.
can't mess with streams.
I agree with that. There was a neighbor that reported to me verbally that he had water in his basement, and I suggested that he reach out. Multiple times I hear complaints, yeah, the residents have to reach out to you guys. I can't address the
Right, you
issues.
can't just go to the stream and move it and
I
change it.
can't, I cannot.
Oh, it's a big process, right, to get the approval to touch a
Oh.
stream?
That could be 10 years.
Yeah.
But why is water in his basement our problem?
You know, because everybody sees water over there, that's why it's over here. I can't answer that.
So if I get water in my basement, I can come to you guys and you guys will fix it for me?
No, you can come to us, but we will fix it.
That's right.
Yes.
The map, I haven't looked lately. Is that on the website yet?
No.
Okay. We kind of need that out before that.
Yeah.
The letter goes out.
We didn't address it in the beginning of the meeting, any questions like that?
No, this is a topic to what we're talking about. Because I also have a Park and Rec comment that has to do with this as well. We were actually mentioning that maybe a way to limit some of the costs for us to clean up as a township, to clean up stuff in there, maybe have an event to get the residents involved to clean up the stuff that's there.
Okay, well,
That-
first, when we get the Park and Rec,
Well, the timing was appropriate.
yeah, I mean, we'll come back to the Park and
Yeah.
Rec for under that business.
Well, it just,
Which
it
is
was,
new business.
Well, Keith, isn't it twice a year you run a shipper pretty much, clean out that walking trail because of debris and stuff?
It's not twice a year, but it's been once a year. It's fairly regular, once a year.
There's been a couple of times it's been twice a year.
There,
because of
there
debris
has it, and
stuff.
I've spent time back there with a backhoe pushing stuff off to the side.
Right.
Sandy,
Yes.
I just think it's appropriate time to talk that. I understand, but it makes sense. We're on that conversation about trees and limbs.
Yeah, we
So,
discussed this before, that we would talk about, we would be able to speak about issues when they arise. Why would you talk in the beginning about something if it's not gonna be coming up for an hour and a half?
Okay.
Seriously, we did talk about this.
Do you guys have any more comments? Okay, so the letter, you guys wanna review that?
I'd
The
like
one
to
here?
watch it. I mean,
Okay.
if it was close to what she wrote, I mean, as long as it's reworded that it
Okay,
kind of
so
covers
then,
everybody then.
everyone's okay with those letters going out to everyone in one?
Yes.
Okay.
How many houses are out there?
250-ish?
I thought there was like 343.
Nah, 250, 260 is gonna be. Something like that.
Current ordinance.
One more question. I don't have a map. Where does it hit up with Mill Stream? Does it?
On the Penwood side of the creek.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just wondering. I don't know the map. I've lived there for over 20 years. I don't know where the trail is, so I'm just making a suggestion. I don't know where it hits, if that's something that may be
There's
done.
not.
Okay,
There's a stream that runs, divides those two.
okay, all right.
Ordinance 210. Pennsylvania regulating the keeping of certain animals with the township of Carnarvon. Were we gonna push this off, or was this ready?
I already published the agenda and you all determined we don't need to address it tonight,
Okay, so
so,
this, we're gonna address this at a later date.
yes.
Park and Recreation comment, review of walking dog section.
Right, so when we addressed the ordinance 210 with Eric Brown, the Parks and Rec comment was to also look at the walking dog section. So if you have time to read this ordinance, see what you think about that. I think we felt like it was unusual what was required in there.
Okay.
So that's to bring to the next meeting if possible.
Okay. Park rules.
This one I believe Eric still has under review, as well as the next one.
Okay, then we'll jump to ordinance for approval establishing Parks and Recreation Committee. Okay, so that one we've been over. That one was advertised, and that's ready for approval.
Do we do the nuisance and fireworks? Or did I miss you, what you said on that?
That one's still under review.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the park rules. Didn't know it was both of them.
Yep.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Now, this is just taking the,
This is
Committee
establishing
numbers
how many,
down.
yes,
Okay.
we, with what the Park and Rec wanted, and you guys, you're fine with that, right? You already seen it, so it's been approved by them, we advertised it, and it's ready for us to approve it now.
okay, well, I'll make a motion to establish the park and rec committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Street work. Invoice approval.
The maintenance project was finished, a few weeks ago. They had submitted a request for the payment in the amount of $53,313.92, which was the entire contract. That's done. Everything was fine with that on our end, so we were recommending that payment to Martin Paving.
Now, this is for the stone chip, correct?
Yes.
Eric, I don't have the samples for that.
Okay. I think I've got them. I'll just verify that we have all the paperwork we need. I'm 99% sure I have it. I'll forward it to Keith to make sure everything's in order. I guess pending receipt of all the paperwork or my confirmation we have it. That's good. Good to see. I'm pretty sure I got it. I'll double check.
While we're on the street work, what's going on with the line painting?
I don't think H&K got out to finish their line painting yet. It was part of their contract. I know he told me they were scheduling it, but I did not just wait for them as to when they were going to do their work.
They reached out to me late last week. The contractor was available, but they had no traffic control. And I wouldn't volunteer the township crew to do traffic control for them. So it's still.
Well, I've been a little upset about this, and I've been talking to Keith, and I've talked to Eric about it, that they were supposed to be done by before school let in. And then we go and get our lines painted on the roads, and then they come in and rip up the road, so I gotta drive on it every day on Valley Road, I see it every day, so it just looks like crap that they dug up the road after the lines were painted. That should've been done before the line painting commenced. So now it's been 3 weeks now since they've been finished, and 2 weeks that it's finished and the lines aren't painted. I wanna know why they didn't finish by the end of school. You said something about a 90-day, what are you referring to about a
When
90-day?
we put the bid out, we gave them 90 days to try to, we were afraid if we shortened it from when we got everything advertised and got everything awarded, if we felt we didn't give them 90 days, I guess, on our end, we might not get bidders until we just got everything through with the paperwork and it worked out that the 90 days was.
Now, has it done that in the past?
Honestly, I don't know for sure. But
Because if that's the case, then we need to get our bids out sooner and get that done, so we get that 90 days before school starts. Because now we're gonna go and we're gonna try to traffic control for the school buses. That was all supposed to be done before school started. Every year, that's what we always
Yeah, I
agree
think
upon.
everything was pushed off because of COVID.
I mean, I know we.
Yeah, but
did-
their blacktop machine broke down, then they fixed it, and then they pulled their machine out to go somewhere else, and then when they went to come back, it rained, so there was delays there. Why did we get delayed? That's what I mean.
So we need to phone call to find out.
Well, I had said to him, he was supposed to call me, but I don't know what happened.
Probably our contract had a big deal with the other one.
Yeah, well, I don't think we should do that again.
Well, like I said, when we did have our pre-construction meeting, we stressed we wanted it done before school, and I know they had it scheduled and they put it back
So
twice.
can we follow up and just see?
See what
if
They need to get the lines painted.
Okay, so who wants to make, somebody want to make an approval for the invoice contingent on,
I will make a motion for the $53,313.92 to Martin paving. Contingent upon receiving the paperwork?
The oil and stone samples.
Okay.
Samples and proper paperwork, I'll second that.
motion a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Road signage recommendations?
I guess this is my part, is this what we're after, Joan, the stuff that, I'm going to reach out to LTAP, on behalf of Carnarvon Township. They offer free engineering, and due to the high volume of accidents at Quarry and Route 10. I would like to see, this is a free service, they will come out and give us ideas about increasing signs, pavement markings, something to show proactiveness on the township side to prevent the accidents there. Officer Tranovich is gonna move the speed sign, which will give me some real-time daily traffic counts on that road, and I'm waiting for those numbers to come back before I reach out. Does anybody object to me reaching out before I inquire? So that's that in a nutshell. I just was waiting for the numbers. That'll help the engineers to help digest a little bit. That'll give me speed and traffic. That can benefit some of this.
91 road access complaint form.
Can I address the supervisors?
Yes.
Good evening. My name's Andy Antone. I've lived at Broad Axe Pass for 25 years. First, I want to thank the board for approving and installing the catch basin and the pipe that runs under the road. The whole concept seemed to be a real possibility. I thought it was really going to be a fix for it, but unfortunately, the rainwater is still coming down and coming onto my property, and gallons and gallons of water. But, and I'm no expert, but I really think that with a little tweaking, the surface can be revised so that the water is actually getting into the catch basin instead of being pushed back onto the roadway. That's one thing I saw. But we're gonna need some additional decisions. The two neighbors on the other side of Keith Fritz, have driveways that are dumping large amounts of water into the roadway. And it's, coming down the road, and because I'm on the low side of the cul-de-sac, it's coming down my driveway and also into the woods next to the driveway. I'm getting mold in the basement and the garage, and I'm concerned about the driveway is developing a dip that looks like the soil's being washed away underneath it. I think that part of the problem is are the two neighbors. If they had pipes at the end of their driveway, I think that would be a big help.
Well, I've been out during the last couple major downpours that we've had, and I've sat there because I know this has been an issue we've been dealing with for a long time. The past couple rainstorms we've had with that significant amount of rain, there's water coming out of everybody's driveway, not just your two neighbors. I'm talking to everybody, but not only on your road, every road up there. I mean, it's definitely an issue. What I noticed is that the pipe that the township did put in is working. We have to keep up on the neighbors doing their part of cleaning the end of their driveway. But I also know that there's a lot of water coming out of the woods to the left of your house on Keith's side. It's coming out of the woods, and it seems like you have a shed there. The shed is in the swale of the water that goes there, and it's bumping it right out onto your driveway.
That shed's been there for 25 years.
I'm not saying that it isn't, but I mean, I'm just talking since it's been brought to my attention when I went out there. What I noticed is that the shed that was built up there, it looks like the water's hitting it and it's directing it onto your driveway. Now, when I was there, your garage door was definitely had a lot of water in front of it. But what I noticed was most of it was coming out of the woods and not so much on the road. So
Well, I actually have waves coming down the driveway at times.
We've noticed that, but since that pipe's been put in, I didn't notice that when I was out there the last two
That last video was done, and I apologize for anybody that's dizzy from it. The last video shows, was taken after that pipe was installed, so
I was out there 2 weeks ago, and the one torrential downpour we had, and I didn't notice much going down your driveway. I noticed it was going into that inlet that we put in, going across the road into the center of the road, and then going out into the right of your house. But like I said, I noticed a lot coming out of the woods. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you didn't have that, you just put that shed there, whatever.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna work on our part, but it might be something, you might have to put some swales around your house on your part, because I can't control what's on Keith's property or anybody else's, we can control what's on the road. That's all we really can control.
We
I
should
said
be able to
something?
stop the water
When these
from the
homes
woods
were
that
built.
crossing the road to her house.
No,
Right.
it's
With
not,
the swale.
it's not coming out of the woods and crossing the road.
No, it's
It's
just,
at
No,
those driveways.
it's coming right down the
she's
road.
just at the lowest point there, which is,
Oh, I
it's
know.
bad for her, I mean, it just, I don't know what to say there. I
But
mean,
with
it just-
all the water coming down those two driveways, it's bound to come down to my property because it has nowhere else to go. It isn't being directed into the swales and
Yeah, why
then to
does
the
it come
catch
down the
basin.
driveway and
Some of
swing
it
the
is, but
swale?
not all of it, especially the neighbor two doors from Keith.
Oh, that's on the other
If
side
you
of the
saw
road.
the end of the video, there was water halfway across the road.
And we've been in contact with them,
Okay.
we're aware of that as well, I mean, and we need to go back to them probably and say something to them about it. But, like I said, no offense to you, I think that on your part though, you might have to look at some grading around your house, cause there is a lot coming out of the woods that is not really coming from the street. We
No,
will
it
do our
is.
part.
It is coming from the street, the water is rushing down the road, and some of it goes into the new catch basin, most of it comes down the edge of Keith's driveway, right across the driveway, and then into the woods.
You know what, if it rains, the next time it rains and I'm off from work, I'm gonna try to make a point to get out there and you can show me what you're talking about, cause
Can I show you with the video? I mean, the video says.
I do this stuff for a living, grading, so I'd rather see it with my own eyes than a video, cause a video is very hard to see some
And
stuff,
you
so.
get dizzy,
I
I
would
know.
like to try to get out there and take a look at it, I'll meet up with maybe Keith, and Keith and I can go out and take a look at it.
Mhm. Well, when you do, I would appreciate your
Yeah, I'll
letting me know so
knock
I
on
can
the
be
door,
there.
and I mean, it's just, I work too, so it's just, if it's a rain day and I'm off, then I'll be glad to try to come out there and hook up with Keith and come out and take a look at it.
And I can try and do that as well.
Okay.
I'll show you what I'm talking about, and you can show me what you're talking about, maybe we can come up with something.
Okay. And the one driveway, two doors up, if you notice, a lot of that water was going into that swale, but there was one point where it comes back out onto the road.
Right, yeah, within
And
these
washes
torrential
down.
downpours, I mean, it's just, the swales get wiped out.
And
I
those
mean, it's just-
downpours are not unusual anymore.
That's right, I mean, within the last several years, it's definitely, we've gotten a lot more rain than we have in the past, so.
Mhm.
But I hear your complaint, and we were definitely looking into it, so we
Okay.
will follow up, and, yeah, the next rainstorm, I'll try to get out there.
Okay. I
But we
appreciate
will
it.
never, I will promise this, we'll never beat Mother Nature.
Oh, of course not. But
So we can,
there are
all we can
ways
do
of
is try.
redirecting water though. There are simple ways of doing, I mean, even a grid running across the road with a French drain or something where the water just pours into that instead of continuing down the road to my driveway, something like that.
The
When
water
I was
wasn't
there, I
draining
noticed-
anywhere. We had backups at our house, and everyone, when these homes were built, was supposed to have, what is it called, Bill, the pipe that goes underneath your driveway. When these homes were built, everyone was supposed to have one. Everyone does not have one.
Right.
I noticed. I don't know how they got away with that. But we had problems too, and I live on Trappers Run for
Mhm.
over 30 years, and our water was laying right in a trench, right out front.
Yeah.
It wasn't even going through. There was too much water, it couldn't go anywhere. So,
Yeah.
that's the way it was. It's just like,
Between the
it's Mother
shed-
Nature, like he said.
Between the shed and the garage, so much water has been dumped into that area. The water, there are large standing areas of
Yeah.
water,
Mhm.
and it's.
We have it too, we have
I
it
can't
at our
even
shed
cut the
too,
grass.
in our garage, so, yeah.
The next time, they'll try to get out, and they're looking into it.
Okay, thank you.
The stormwater driveway pipe items, update. We have Klein and Hopewell Road permits, DEP requirements.
I reached out to DEP about this before, this was regarding the joint permit. When I spoke with the lady from DEP and told her what we were looking to do, she tells me verbally, if there's any wetlands, the only way to address it is a joint permit. When she responded, I asked if we could get something in writing, it says you may need it. She said, well, you could put the plans together and have a pre-submission meeting so you know which permits you need to do. I said, what all do we need to do that? And she essentially said you would need to delineate all the wetlands, put the plans together, and then have a meeting at that point. So I don't think, I can forward the information to Eric, or I know he mentioned about reaching out before. I can forward the information I got to him, and see if he can reach out and get anything else, but I guess verbally, she told me that's what we'll need, but she will not specifically put that in writing. I spoke to her when I got the writing, it says you may need, so.
Okay.
I
Alright, so
don't
we're gonna
know.
throw that there.
We'll try, I can reach out,
Okay.
if that's the way you'd like to proceed on that, I can ask Eric to reach out and see what he can find out on that.
I'll let him know.
Okay.
Thank you.
North Twin Valley Road Drainage, follow-up letter.
There was, is this for the complaint on 4381? There was a complaint issued, I believe it was back in April.
No, this one's
Or
for,
is this just for
This
about
is
the
just
school?
the road drainage.
in that
yes.
Okay,
area,
sorry.
North Twin Valley.
Okay. At the school, we have not heard anything back from the property owner that we reached out to at that point. I know the school had indicated that they would contribute to doing some work over in there. But we haven't. The property owner-
Have we reached out to them to try to get an easement, cause that's what we're looking for, right?
That's what the original letter was from, and there was no response. I think what we're looking for right now is, are we sending them a certified letter? Can we knock on doors? Can Eric send them a letter? Can we try, should we try again? I mean, we either need a flat refusal from them, or at least open a conversation.
Well, I agree that we need to follow up, cause I mean, we've sent a letter out, so we need to follow up with another letter, certified, whatever it is, to keep going.
I agree with that, because the schools want to match some of this funding, and I don't wanna
We
miss
need to
that.
take advantage of that.
So, we wanna do a certified letter now, and then
I
if
would
there's no
say-
response, then we turn it over.
Let us know either way, yes or no, it's either, agree to an easement or don't,
At least entertain a conversation.
yes.
Maybe invite them to a township meeting, or some supervisors, at least for conversation.
371 Swamp Road driveway.
And that one, we had issued last month, we had issued the citation for that. We don't have it to date as far as a hearing or anything, but that was submitted, and we're just waiting for feedback on that, when that was.
So how long do we give her? That's her, right?
I think at this point, we have to wait until the citation is either approved or disapproved by the magistrate, if I'm correct, and then I think
Sure.
after that, then it would.
We wait for the date.
Okay.
Cause that's been going on for 2 years?
At least.
I guess, or you're questioning, I guess maybe I'm speaking correctly, if that decision is made that, for the date on that, if she doesn't do anything, at what point do we think the next step, or what is the next step beyond that, correct? As far as if
That's what I'm looking
defines
for.
issued or whatever.
Because we've had several meetings with her as well, we tried to work with her.
For a year.
We tried to work with her, and, that didn't go too well, at all.
Okay, so we're waiting on the court, then we'll go to the next step, if nothing comes. 60, we just do 60 Broad Axe Pass Drive pipe.
And Eric and I were just there. He was issued a letter for the neighbor's benefit. He was issued a letter last year to replace his pipe. They replaced it. I won't say it was timely. He struggled with the contractor, but it did get replaced. This spring, he was issued a second letter because it was blocked. He cleared it. It was blocked without the letter. He cleared it during that last rain event. It got blocked again. We were there yesterday, and the obstruction's been cleared. So the property owner is trying to keep up with it. So I don't know what more we can ask for.
Okay.
Chestnut Hill Drainage Swale.
This was another one up near Chestnut and Shiloh, where we had reached out to the property owners, and they did indicate they would be willing to work with us to get easements and put some plans together for them. I guess just need to know if we're supposed to move forward on that, or where we stand on that. I'm gonna say a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, Keith and Scott Anderson met with the property owner, and they had asked for easements and some stuff, and I guess we're back. They said as long as we're doing what was kind of discussed then, they're okay with moving forward on that.
Now, is that in the area of the retention pond?
No, this is at the intersection of California, Chestnut Hill and Shiloh, where the road floods.
During Hurricane Ida, that was bad there.
Okay, so we're getting someplace with that.
So Great Valley's got permission to start, or even Eric, as far as starting to
I
draw
would
up.
say we start to draw up the easement.
Yes.
Everyone on board with
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Mountaineer Village retention pond status.
wanna talk about that, Keith? Or is he gonna talk about that?
I'm kinda hoping that our legal representative's gonna give us a little help here, but yes, that stormwater pond and that drainage structure failed during the hurricane.
Well, up until a couple of years ago, we didn't even know it existed, but in between the two entranceways of Mount Dear Village, there's a retention pond in there that has been overgrown, and we've noticed over the past year or two, that the pipe was rotted out, and it completely
That's
went
one
out.
right past the Ken's, or
Like,
off the S
completely
Street.
let loose and flooded out Chestnut
Chestnut
Road.
Road.
Against the Rockies.
Yeah, you guys didn't know that either.
No.
So who maintains that? Can you find out?
Well, because there's no HOAs up there, what do you think?
We do.
Well, the agreements, the way I guess I interpreted them was the property owner for that particular property, I believe it's 190 Settlers Trail, is responsible to mow and maintain the pond itself. But there's an
Except for the
agreement that the township is responsible for the outfall structure and the outlet pipes. But the pond, I think it said it's supposed to be kept within like 2 inches or something
No
like
more
that.
than 12.
And it hasn't been maintained at all.
Oh, it's always had trees growing and everything.
So that's.
For 30 years that we.
That agreement's very specific. The homeowner is only responsible for things that can be done with hand tools and a lawn tractor. Above and beyond that, it's somebody else's responsibility, but it doesn't say that. All it says is the township is responsible for the outlet structure, the cement and the structure and the pipe. That's what it tells us. There's a lot of gray area and that's in
What
the
is
agreement.
the address of the owner of that property?
198.
I wanna say it's 116, it's 116 Settlers Trail.
So the homeowner that actually owns that property is not right there.
It's off of Settlers Trail, it kind of weaves in, but that Gordaki people that you have, that there's on the building plans and plot plans shows that as designated wetland. So what you're finding here is access is becoming very difficult.
Can we even get in there to fix it, like?
I haven't figured out how yet.
There was a
That
little-
house
there was a
that
little
owns,
road back there at one time.
yeah, but
That was
that
years ago.
That road or old construction entrance drives right into what is designated as wetland on the maps here that Eric has in front of me. And the house where it says we're allowed to access through their lot, they've put additions and additions and additions on, and now it's 2 miles long. And I'm not sure how we're getting, this is a track machine job, that's just, there's no other way around it. It's big, it's deep, it's long, and none of it's fit to be on the back. On the Gordaki side, it is by definition in these plans.
Well, if they're directing everything to that basin, that would be,
It was never really wet.
I'll
I used to walk through there and stuff. Yeah.
Is that Gordon?
I don't have a report from Eric on this one. I don't want us conceding that we're agreeing to anything, or that we're responsible for anything. I'd rather
So we need to
make
review
sure
it.
we.
We have Eric.
Definitely find out who's responsible, who does what, and research it. before we make a plan.
My advice to you or concern to you is this has a certain amount of priority to it. So even if Eric's reviewing this between now and your next meeting, I think he should be sharing some of this with you because.
well, I'd entertain you trying to get some prices, because I agree that you need a track machine in there, and we don't own one. So maybe reach out to a couple different road, whatever, see if they can get some prices. To at least replace from the outlet structure through the bank and get the pipe reestablished, so we can get the berm back in place.
Get control back in order.
You know, I mean, I'm not talking about going and dredging the bottom of the basin out, removing trees and whatnot, but at least get the bank established with the pipe.
You're understanding that to get access, that's your first question for Eric is access.
Well, let him
Because
work on that.
you can't come from the road.
But
because
as
of
soon as
the-
Eric tells us how to gain access,
Yeah.
we can get in there and start doing something.
Well, let him work on the access part of it, but in the meantime, maybe just take him out there and say, this is what we're dealing with, we're trying to figure it out, but just to get, so we get on
Right.
it and we don't let it sit.
I mean, I have no problem coming up with some piping and taking some contractors out there. The access is a problem, plus hauling filler stone back in because there's no easy way in here.
Barry has a track truck, we probably use. If we
Is this
had-
house in Carnarvon Township? Why did we let them add on and on and on, like we did, when something like this is happening now that we can't.
Where?
The house that he said we have to get access, is this house the one in Mountaineer Village, but really not in Mountaineer Village?
No, it's in the center.
It's in the.
If you go in Settlers Trail, it's up
Yes,
to the
it's on the
left.
right.
Left.
Oh, the left side.
It's on the
Okay,
left
so,
side.
I don't even know what house you're talking about.
It's the second.
The second one. Oh, yes, okay.
The second
yeah.
house on the
I know
left.
which one you mean. Well, why did we allow them to do that?
I don't hand out permits or issue them. I
mean,
just know
now
that-
it's a problem, right? It's a problem because they built it so big down.
No, I mean, how long has Mountaineer Village been there?
35 years.
35 years, okay? So this basin has been there for 35 years, and over 35 years, the metal pipe that was in that basin rusted out, and it now completely failed.
But those people only added on maybe, what, 10 years ago?
Adding on had nothing to do with the pipe
It
rotting
didn't,
out.
okay.
Had nothing to do
All
with
right.
that.
I thought it was access to.
But the pipe they're referring to comes right down to Chestnut Hill Road, and it flooded out Chestnut Hill Road, so we need to address this. So
Okay.
that's,
All right, I
that's
understand
that's
now.
what our matter at hand is.
The plans just say that maintenance access can be through lot 116, and I don't know that that's the actual house number. It just says on the plans that I reviewed, it said access through their property to get to that. But
Yeah, are they-
once it's an improved property with a house and a garage and a septic system and a well, I mean, driving a tractor across the yard with skips and lift.
Yeah. So it could be a problem, is what all I'm saying, that's all.
Hello?
Yeah, comments have to be made in the beginning. Are you here about your property?
No, but just I come little late.
Yeah, but let's get this straight. Now, the last meeting, you said that we could speak when it comes up. Now, why would I
When
come
we make a
in?
motion on something, you can speak, but we're doing new business. We're going through and we're discussing it. There are no more comments.
I had my
Comments are made
hand
in the
raised.
beginning.
You didn't call, I had my hand raised twice, you didn't call on me while we were speaking
I
on the
had a
subject.
sign in.
Okay, I wasn't here, and I had asked Michelle to put my name down. I wanted to
She did
speak
not.
to the state representative who didn't show up. Is that-
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right,
we're
but
in
let's
new
get it, I
business,
just.
we're in new business.
Okay,
When we
okay.
get to Park and Rec, that
No.
is when the Park and Rec people will discuss what they
She
have.
she
what
needs
I'm
to talk
asking-
about what's on the agenda right now.
Yeah,
That's her question.
why you write down everybody's, why you did write down my things? I just complain, I come last week also and just tell next meeting you guys discuss, like I got too much storm water coming and everything, and you guys never say like when water come, I'm gonna come and see like my, all the land is washed up.
What's going on back there?
That stuff is in my engineer's report.
Okay, that's in the engineer's report.
Well, how do we know
The
that?
engineers-
You'll find
Because
out
it's
when we
always-
get there.
It's always in the engineer's
when
report.
we
But
get there.
are you
That's-
saying, you told her she should have spoken in the beginning of the meeting?
If she had additional to add, otherwise it's in the engineer's report. Everything that he's working on, and she was here last time and they were.
She's been here for 6 months asking the same thing.
No, not 6 months, 1.5 year. I come last
I
March.
understand that.
Last March, and see someone said they're gonna cut the grass twice. Nobody come cut the grass behind my
The
property.
engineer's report, we will discuss that. The engineer's report is coming up.
Okay, I'm gonna wait, yeah?
Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna wait, yeah?
all right. Twin Valley Mariner grant update.
Is everybody okay
I
with
know
these
school
dedicated
meeting.
prices?
Yes.
Yes,
But,
yes.
yeah, that's fine.
Any update on the merit, so we're, nothing on that, or?
There's been no
Okay.
feedback, it'd be more, I don't know if you
At
guys.
this point, I mean, the only thing that money they were gonna allow us to do was stuff on school property, and the school has denied that they don't want it. So at this point, I think we,
Can we take that off the agenda, or? are we
I
done
would,
with it?
I would have
What-
him,
It's kind of null and void.
well, I'd ask Eric to send a letter that says that the grant only pertained to private property, and the property owner has declined to let us on. So we have some bills for engineering that's been ongoing for this project,
Okay.
and send it off. But we're not gonna do anything with that, it's never
But
gonna,
if we get approval from them, we can use that toward that or no?
no.
Only on school property?
The only thing they'll let us do is turn dry detention ponds into wet bottom, and the school just flat out refuses, and I can't say as a blame.
But is
No,
there
I
anything we
would not.
need to do with the drainage, like no?
They won't, everything they put together was glorifying the school and rain ponds, rain
It's in the
gardens.
pond, not coming out.
Okay, so we wanna turn this over to Eric to see where, basically to close this out.
That's what we're trying to do.
Okay, let me clarify what you're saying. They're not gonna fund anything unless we create ponds.
We have to convert dry ones to wet ones to
Where you
make
get
them.
mosquitoes and,
Right.
yeah,
And that those ponds are all on the school's property, AK, private property at this point. When we started on this project, we were trying to do stormwater improvements on Main Street, or on North Twin Valley Road, and they didn't like that. They went right up to the school with all the
Yeah,
project
that's all the
money.
money can be used for, we might as well forget it.
Because all you're trying to do is pipe the water underground from those basins across Climber Hill Road down to the bridge, correct?
Correct.
I think when the application was put in, my understanding was the pond was included for thoughts that might help you get the money, but they basically came back then and said you can do the pond work, but not the storm pipe work beyond the pond, and that's
correct, that's.
kind of
what I
that now
remember.
at this point.
So we'll send that back there. XTO grant update.
How we basically discussed earlier,
Okay.
it was just kind of multimodal grant.
Okay. 2022 animal services contract.
Sunoco.
Sunoco road work.
And then we got a counter offer from
Yes.
Sunoco with our letter.
And no action at this time.
Okay.
Public, we can talk about an executive.
Okay. 2022 animal services contract with Safety Net Sanctuary. I think we wanna, hold off on this and see what she can find out about the ARL and see if anything's changed since the other person is no longer there. And see what kind of contract they're offering,
Something
just for
reasonable.
convenience. Okay,
So-
everyone okay with that?
Paul, you're saying that the safety net is in Fleetwood?
That is correct.
So that's where we would have to go.
We need somebody to transport it, like if a resident wants to drop off an animal, or we have one, now we have to leave the township to go there, or find somebody to
Yeah,
take
but
that
it's not a
animal.
lot of money, what do they charge?
Well, that's what he wants to do.
I wanna
He
see,
wants to
the
if they
person
changed their
that
structure.
gave the last proposal,
Yeah,
that
I
was
know.
way out of line, that was not liked by many municipalities, is no longer there. But I'd like to just revisit this idea, because it could be a convenience, if we can get a good pricing,
Yeah.
it's a
I
convenience for the
think they're
township
looking for
residents.
$6,000 or more, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it'd be a convenience for the township residents, it'd be a convenience for the
I
police
thought it was like
department.
six,
Well, at this point,
$6
let
a
him
head
see
for
what they
pound.
offer, and then we'll have it in front of us,
Yes.
okay? All right, everyone good with that? We'll hold
Sure.
off on this. Saldo revisions, distribution of plans. County of Berks special taxes, system user for approval.
Yeah, I'll talk to the treasurer about this. The county's going through a new system for taxes, so they just want a contract. So the treasurer said if you want me to be the contact, if you change taxes, like special taxes, we can now go in and then replace it, is all it is.
I mean, I'm fine with appointing Joan as the contact, system user.
I would second that.
Motion a second?
Aye.
Okay, saldo revisions, distribution of plans. Anything on this?
I talked to Terry earlier, I think he mentioned to you.
I know there was an amendment to, or an I think this is to get an ordinance advertised to revise the number of plans that need to be submitted with the various sketch preliminary final plan sets, or plan submissions, and then also it addresses, I think, confirming that we get a digital copy of the plans when they're submitted as well.
So we require 7 plans, 2 applications, 3 copies of all supplementary data. Now that's underlined, so is that what's being changed to or from?
Two.
I
2.
think it's 2 seconds.
Yeah, it used to be 12 plans.
Okay, yeah.
Is, you're gonna have to advertise that?
I think the
We
way
would
it's
have-
left, it needs to
yeah.
approve it, yes, but that's was to see if it's okay to advertise so that it can be approved.
I
We
mean,
just,
these plans are out of control with how many they want.
we just approved to do the GIS stuff. And I believe you could change your saldo to make sure that the builder would be supplying a copy of that in a form, electronic form, that we can move right into that with all of the plans and all of the special notes and all of that. And so, all I'm saying is if you're advertising, that's another addition before you would advertise.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but the reason they have so many plans is that each subcontractor gets an approved signed plan. That way, you know, if the plumber, the electrician, or the site guy, or the concrete guy, they have an official plan.
So where's this request coming from then to change to
Okay.
7?
It came from the planning commission.
Yeah, we don't need all this plan.
Okay.
Right.
Why
We
waste the
went
money?
from 12 to 7, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I can go to Terry and double check on the
I'm
GIS.
fine if they came up with 7, they had a reason for it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they
And
counted
I
and
think
figured what the
7's
average
sufficient.
is. Okay.
Well, like, my line of work, we get one, we make copies of it for our guys, but, you know, we keep the one in our office and our,
Okay, so do
whatever
we need
projects we have.
a motion to advertise this?
We would, yeah.
Okay, does anyone want to make a
I'll
motion?
make a motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Fire police request, Elson Parade, October 20th.
I'll make a motion.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And then the police pension sheet for approval.
And the treasurer prepared this, so your calculation, you can see there what it will be for next year. So I guess for authorized signer, typically it's the treasurer, Jack Reesner, they're used to signing these. So, I don't know, maybe this time since the treasurer's not available, so maybe we can sign it, we can submit it.
Is this in line with previous, I mean,
I think it's a little less, just because the last.
maybe it's the payroll.
Exactly, yeah, it does fluctuate on the payroll. So we will submit this to the actuary.
Okay, so just submitted these figures, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to make a motion to submit this to the actuary?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion
And
and
approve
second?
for you to sign, right? If he's unavailable.
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Township trick or treat night, set date.
It looks like the 31st is a Sunday. We've always kept it on Halloween.
Mhm.
And, our times were what, 6 to 9, I think it was?
Yeah.
Yes. At least I think it was last year.
I'm pretty sure it was 6 to 9, just check, but I would say let's go with that.
I thought it was 5 to 8, but I could be wrong.
Whatever it was last year. I would just double check.
And can you guys speak up? My husband, I know, he can't hear very well. I don't think he's heard much of anything that has gone on, especially you, Joan.
Well, we
You're
had the
speaking.
speakers on,
Yeah,
but something
but-
happened to them. so
Yeah,
they
I know,
shut
but
them
what
off.
happened to, I don't see it on here. When are we getting new speakers? I
We
don't.
did that in the
We did
beginning of
talk
the meeting.
about it.
Okay, that's what, all right, good. I didn't
Okay,
see it
so
listed here, though.
Anybody wanna confirm, does anyone remember the Halloween hours? Park and Rec, anyone?
But I
Just
don't,
keep them the same as last year.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
past 8:30's really kinda
Yeah.
crazy, to be
We can
totally
look it up.
honest.
We'll make a motion to keep them the same as last year,
Yes.
and we'll keep it on Halloween and Sunday.
Yes.
You can advertise that when you figure that out, Joe, on the website.
We need a motion for that's just the.
I'd make a motion
Okay.
to make it part of the record.
Colby, Allen, all in favor?
Aye.
Not sure if many kids are gonna be checking it.
Sounds good on paper.
Okay, other business. A&R plans ready for signature.
What does that stand for?
Good question. Is that what these are, Joan?
Those are plans that were previously approved, and so the engineer did the stamp. So now it's just ready for the board to sign, so they can work forward. JAMR Holdings is just the official name of the owner.
Okay.
And we're on the line.
Is that behind the beverage place here? Is that the beverage place? Okay, yeah, we discussed that last meeting.
It was approved. It's an annexation.
Yeah.
Well, I can't try.
Yeah, lot line.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The one behind the beverage, that's the lot line change.
Now, how does that affect that stormwater basin?
One year.
right?
We discussed that in that meeting, the engineer was cheap, when we said it was engineered, you know, is this part of the problem, you have to really tell. And the engineer said, I don't think so, but I will ask. Tomorrow. And I said, please do, because that's a minimum requirement.
So, is that, what's this chunk? Mass Road. Can you go in Mass Road, that whole left side there, is that owned by the house in the back? So that's the big lot.
On the left.
On the left.
Where's the year that they spoke about speakers?
I do see that.
The basin's over here, how is it getting over there? So that's gotta be, is that right?
Yes.
Is that not correct now? So this is the left front of that. On that line. So is that? Keith, come here a second. So the issues we're having with this homework basically.
I couldn't tell you, I've never been in there, because that's all
Right,
private.
but right here, it looks like here's where the swales and stuff in the basement, but we're talking about this, and that doesn't have an issue on this, because that's gotta be the hotel, right?
Yeah, but I'm.
So if the basin isn't on that, how does she have an issue?
I can't answer that. I'm gonna tell you that the ponds are someplace else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't, I've never been in there. That's all private ground.
The engineer, yeah. So the only way to truly see it is back there after it's engineered.
Right,
No, that's not much, it's 3-4 feet tall. Did it
You
ever?
remember?
Unless they're just being,
Yeah, but it's way after this deadline.
we initiate citation.
Well, why don't we cover that now, because we're talking about this annexation, and can you bring us up to speed on that?
Yeah, on that one, the ponds from Valley Ponds is discharged in that area.
You're
are
gonna
on their
listen.
schedule to
Look,
do-
listen to this.
They're on the schedule to be completed. Some of the work, they wanted to wait till some of the leaves drop and some of the foliage is down, so when they mow, they wanna come in and mow it so they can see everything, but they wanna make sure they're not damaging their equipment with rip rapids in them, so the pond, discharges in that area for Valley Ponds is on the list to be completed. As part of that
So
work.
do you see this annexation?
Terry,
Because I'm kind of confused about this, because
We
how
looked
is
at a better plan.
This isn't the
this
engineer.
annexation, I don't understand how this isn't affecting the hotel. Because in my mind, okay, so here's Morgantown Beverage right here, okay? Which would be this lot right here. Here is the red carpet inn, this chunk of ground right here. Now, is the basin over here? Or is the basin here?
this basin here is.
Well, I mean, I see it looks like a basin right here on this print here.
I think, I may be wrong, like I said, I thought the one back in this area was from Valley Ponds, and there's a small one, I think that is back here, as far as I remember, this area is from. But Terry did.
And if you remember at that meeting, we discussed that that
I thought the
property
guy that
touched.
was here that did the
Yes.
survey said that wasn't
That was
part
the
of it.
engineer.
Well, of course you're gonna say that, because he wants
I
our
know.
approval. But I mean, this lady's been coming to meetings for a year and a half now, so you tell Terry that gotta get on this, because that's ridiculous.
This isn't the engineer's report, is it?
No, but we
Okay.
stepped
Bumped up
ahead, we
because
stepped
we're
ahead
talking
because we're
about
talking about a
property
plot
now.
right there.
Is this her time to speak or not?
Please at least listen. She was talking, so I.
Well, we didn't know it was the engineer's report on her
Okay, so-
subject.
Okay, so do we want these signed then? Or we
I
want
say we
one
hold till
signature?
we can get this resolved about that,
Resolve it.
about that.
Till that property gets mowed and it's straightened out with the basin.
Okay. So we're gonna
Because
hold
we
off on
can't,
that.
we can't
Well, she
straight
would
answer.
know.
on
Did they
who-
mow that property yet?
Did they mow the property around you, any of that?
They like cutting grass?
Yeah.
Yes,
No, they didn't do nothing.
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 Okay, so we hold off, we don't sign it.
Still, I cannot open my backside door and I think windows like too much mosquito and everything like behind.
Who's saying that they can't mow it?
I believe there's an agreement between the property owner and Turnpike Chevrolet that Turnpike would mow. Ultimately, though, if they don't mow, it falls on the property owners, which is Merrill Denlinger. We issued a citation to him and we're waiting for like a date from the magistrate on that, but the citation.
So this is
issued.
Merle Danlinger's property or it's Valley Pond's property?
The one that's not, that one is Merrill Denlinger's, is my understanding. Valley
well-
Ponds, I think, drains back behind there also, and their one pond is one of the issues.
We understand our frustration. She comes here and yells at us. We're looking to you guys, and it doesn't seem like this is another thing that we need to follow up on. So
I know the
express
other-
our concern that this needs to be taken care
Okay,
of.
so
Sure
we're
on that
waiting for
one.
a court date for them,
For the mowing.
for the mowing. Okay.
And Valley Ponds, the work on them, they do have a contractor in place to do the work with the pond up there. It's just, they're waiting, they're trying to wait till some of the leaves and stuff.
Now,
Okay.
that's affecting her as well?
My understanding is the chunk of that, I'll double check, I'll make sure I get this all squared away with Terry. My understanding is a portion of that drains behind there too.
Okay, so Valley Ponds has a contractor set up, and we have a court date for the other issue. So we're waiting for the courts to get back to us with the date. We're going after them for not taking care of what they need to. So
Okay.
that's where we're at.
Because my land washed up now, when you gonna see backside like that big, like like big thing going too much. When it's like water coming from over there, too much water coming and land is washed up. I put lot of rock also is gone.
Ask him how long it's gonna take.
And how long it take time to like this one? How long it take time?
Okay, so.
Once we get a court date, do you want Eric Brown to attend as well?
I would like to be updated on this. I
Yeah.
mean, we're not getting updated, and when she comes in, you see, she's upset. I get it. So, I mean, I'd
Yeah.
like to be updated on what's going on.
Like see your property like all land like washed up, then you upset also.
Can she be updated when you guys have an update? Can you give her a court date?
I'm fine with that. I mean,
Yeah.
Joan, you have her contact information? You can let her know as soon as.
Usually they not call me, I just stop by also every 2-3 weeks. I just stop by also here.
We'll call, she calls Terry.
And I call also on off.
Well, we're working on that. I mean, we're waiting to hear from them. So that's kind of where we're at.
I guess basically, they're asking stuff of us. The only way we're gonna get their attention is stop what they're asking.
Right, so we don't sign this, and what were you gonna say?
Two thoughts on it. First, once we get a court date, I absolutely want her to attend so that the district judge who gets it knows that it's not just us, the Big Bend Bully Township, but she can speak the piece and the DJ can take it.
So we can we'll let you know when the court date is, and you can attend the court date and speak.
And
Which
here,
would be in.
No,
No,
it'll be
with
at a
the
courtroom.
judge,
You have to
with
tell the
the
judge.
I tell the judge.
In Reading.
And in reading.
Reading, yes.
Well, I'm
We're
not sure
waiting,
if
we're waiting to hear back when the court hearing is gonna be. As soon as we hear about that, we will let you know.
And that would be in your best interest to do that.
Because that way the judge doesn't know
You
it's
wanna
coming
go.
all from us, it's
Yeah.
coming from a resident
Yes.
and a business
Okay, I'm
owner
gonna
as well.
come. Definitely I have to take